You're annoying. So, we used your savings for her party. Mom texted. Dad added, she's actually special. I said nothing. Then an account alert popped up. $11,900 was gone. At the family reunion, my nephew yelled, thanks for the luxury cruise, Grandma. Mom's smile froze. Dad looked away. I calmly pulled out my phone, froze the account, and revoked their access. The next day, a cake arrived at their door with a message. My phone buzzed a text from Mom. You're annoying, so we used your savings for her party. Another one immediately followed. Dad, she's actually special. I stared at the messages, a cold, hollow ache spreading through my chest. I didn't respond. What was the point? Moments later, an alert from my banking app, $11,900 gone. $11,900 vanished my savings, the money I had been setting aside for a down payment on my first home. Gone with a single decision they didn't even bother telling me about. At the family reunion a week later, I walked in quietly. I saw them instantly, my parents beaming, Chelsea, the special one, glowing in the center of attention, her friends gathered around, my relatives showering her with praise. My chest tightened. Thanks for the cruise, Grandma. Chelsea's son shouted, his voice slicing through the noise. The room went still. Mom's smile froze, her eyes darting. Dad's hand tightened around his glass. I felt something cold and sharp settle in my chest. They hadn't just used my savings for her party. They'd spent it on a luxury cruise, a vacation I hadn't even known about. My money, funding their dream trip, while I was left with nothing. I pulled out my phone, my fingers steady, my face calm. I opened my banking app, navigated to the account settings, and froze the account. I revoked their access with one click. The next morning, a delivery van pulled up at their house. A massive, gaudy 3-tier cake, dark chocolate, almost black with the words in bold, silver icing. Congratulations. The bank is closed. I didn't add my name. I didn't need to. But as I put my phone down, a thought hit me, this wasn't just about money. They had crossed a line they couldn't come back from. And I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. I didn't hear from them immediately. Silence. Cold, empty silence. Not even an angry text from Mom or a guilt-laden call from Dad. Just the eerie calm before a storm. But I knew my family too well to think this was over. They weren't the type to apologize. They were the type to retaliate. And they did. 3 days later, my phone buzzed a long, furious string of messages from Mom. What is wrong with you? We're your family. Unfreeze that account now. But I didn't respond. Instead, I let the notifications pile up, each message more desperate, more venomous than the last. Then the calls started, first Mom, then Dad. Both of them taking turns, their voices flipping from pleading to shouting. Dad went from, you're overreacting, to, this is betrayal, within minutes. Mom was even worse, sobbing one moment, calling me ungrateful the next. I didn't answer. But when I got home that evening, they were already there, parked in my driveway. Mom was out of the car, pacing, her phone pressed to her ear, her other hand waving in frantic gestures. Dad leaned against the hood, arms crossed, his face a mask of barely controlled rage. I pulled in, took a deep breath, and stepped out. Finally, Mom stormed up, her face flushed. What is wrong with you? Do you think this is funny? Freezing our account? Sending that cake? Are you trying to embarrass us? Embarrass you? I kept my voice calm, steady. No, that was just a reminder. A reminder that I'm done being your personal ATM. ATM. You're a child, Dad's voice was low and tight, each word like a loaded threat. Family is supposed to support each other. Support? I laughed, a cold, bitter sound. You mean like you did when you drained my savings without asking? Or when you used it to fund a cruise I didn't even know about? It was for Chelsea, Mom shot back. She's been through so much. And you save it. I stepped past them, unlocked my door, but Mom grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my sleeve. You're going to destroy this family with your stubbornness, she hissed, tears welling up in her eyes. Do you want that? Do you want to be the reason we fall apart? I looked at her, felt the familiar weight of guilt pressing against my chest, the same weight they'd used for years to control me. But this time, it didn't sink in. This time, I saw it for what it was, a chain. And I was done being bound. I'm not the one who destroyed this family, I said, meeting her eyes calm and cold. You did that the moment you decided I was nothing but a wallet. Her grip loosened, her face pale. Dad stepped forward, his jaw clenched. You want to play this game? Fine. But you'll come crawling back. You always do. I didn't answer. I walked inside, locked the door, and leaned against it, my heart pounding. Through the window, I watched them fumble back to their car, their shouts muffled through the glass. But I knew it wasn't over. Not a chance. Because the next day, I got the notification. Someone had tried to reset my online banking password twice. I changed everything. New passwords, new security questions, new alerts. I wasn't just protecting my money now. This wasn't just a fight. It was the final break. A week later, I woke up to a string of texts from my cousin Emily, the one who stayed out of family drama. Hey, you okay? Your mom's saying some crazy stuff. Apparently, you've gone rogue. Is that true? Rogue? I smiled a cold, bitter smile. They were painting me as the villain. The ungrateful, selfish child who turned on his family. Fine. If they wanted a villain, I'd show them one. The next day, I called my bank, confirmed the security measures, then made another call to a lawyer. I had supported my family for years, covered their emergencies, paid for their parties, covered Chelsea's endless whims. But all that was about to change. By the end of the week, the joint account they used to sneak my money for family expenses was closed. The emergency credit card I'd co-signed to help with unexpected costs canceled. I reviewed every payment, every recurring charge I had ever set up for them. One by one, I cut them off. And then I did something I never thought I'd do. I posted on our family group chat. For years, I've supported this family, paid your bills, covered your emergencies, sacrificed my own future, and in return, I became your personal wallet. No more. Consider this my final contribution. Learn how to live without me. I hit send and watched the dots appear, Mom typing. Dad typing. Chelsea typing. I smiled, closed the app, and turned off my phone. But as I leaned back, my phone still buzzing against the couch, I knew this was just the beginning. I wasn't just done helping them. I was ready to take back everything they'd built using me. Mom didn't just start a fight. She made it clear this was all-out retaliation. The family group chat exploded with her messages. Mom, it hurts so much that he chose money over his family. Mom, he forgot everything we did for him. Mom, we don't even recognize our son anymore. He's become so selfish. Within minutes, 30 relatives, some I barely spoke to, others who only appeared for drama, jumped in like vultures. Aunt Martha, how could you do this to your mother? Cousin Jack, I'm ashamed of you. Uncle Henry, you never understood what family means. I read their messages, feeling a cold wave of anger washing over me, but I didn't respond. Instead, I quietly exited the chat, leaving them to their self-righteous outrage. Let them tear each other apart, trying to convince themselves I was the villain. Saturday. The gym that had always been my place with Dad, our tradition. Every Saturday at 8 a.m., we'd meet here, lifting weights and pretending we were bonding. But today was different. I walked in, nodded at the trainer, and headed to the familiar weight rack. Dad was already there, stretching by the mirror. He saw me and smiled like nothing had happened. Ready to break your record today, he joked, forcing cheer into his voice. I stayed silent, loaded the barbell with heavier weights, and began lifting. The silence between us was heavier than any weight I'd ever lifted. But Dad kept pretending. You know, your mom is really upset, he started, casually picking up a pair of dumbbells. She didn't mean anything by it. Just stress, you know. Family's always a bit chaotic. I slammed the barbell back onto the rack, the metal clanging loud enough to draw a few stares. Chaotic? You're calling stealing my savings chaotic? Dad froze, the fake smile fading. Don't be so dramatic. He set the dumbbells down. It was a mistake. They just wanted to do something special for Chelsea. Special? I laughed, a cold, bitter sound. She's so special you decided to steal my money, and now you're telling everyone I'm the monster. His face tightened. Don't call it stealing. It was support. Family helps each other. Support? I stepped forward, staring directly into his eyes. You mean using me as an ATM? Telling everyone I betrayed you while you chose money over your own son? His grip on the dumbbells tightened. You're making yourself out to be a victim. We've always supported you. Supported me? I leaned in, my voice a low, cold whisper. Like when I paid your bills? When I covered Chelsea's expenses? When I kept the lights on because you were temporarily out of work? That was your support? Stop exaggerating, he snapped, trying to regain control. Exaggerating? I cut him off. You turned me into a cash machine, Dad. And now you're trying to convince the family I'm the villain because I finally said enough. He opened his mouth, then closed it. No more fake smiles. No more jokes. Just silence. You know what? I grabbed my towel. This is our last Saturday here. I turned, heading for the exit. If you walk out now, this family falls apart, he shouted after me. I paused, not looking back. I already lost my family. But you lost something more. Your ability to use me. And with that, I left him standing there, a lost figure among the weights he always thought made him strong. A week later, my cousin's wedding. I wasn't planning to go. But then I realized they were counting on me to stay away, to hide. No, that was their script. But now I was writing my own. I arrived late, just as the music swelled and laughter echoed through the hall. Mom and Dad stood with relatives, smiling, pretending they hadn't turned my life into a feeding trough. And then Mom saw me. Her smile melted into something sharp and bitter. She stormed toward me, her voice a harsh whisper. What are you doing here? Came to see how you lie to everyone? Don't you dare, she hissed, her face flushing with rage. You've already caused enough pain. You're a disgrace. People were starting to look, their curious gazes turning toward us. A disgrace. I raised my voice slightly, just enough for the nearest tables to hear. A disgrace is stealing from your own son. A disgrace is lying to everyone. Pretending you're the victims. Her face went pale. The whispering grew louder. You're insane, she whispered, her voice trembling. No, Mom. You just never thought I'd tell the truth. I turned and walked out, leaving them standing there surrounded by whispers and judgment. No longer the perfect parents. No longer in control. The next day, I was sitting in my lawyer's office. I want a formal notice prohibiting them from using my name or financial information in any capacity. And if they try to interfere in my life again, legal consequences. The lawyer nodded. I left his office feeling lighter, my phone free from constant demands. I blocked their numbers, deleted them from my contacts. They chose money over me, and I chose freedom. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the silence of my phone. No messages. No missed calls. No desperate apologies. Nothing. Just the calm I'd fought so hard to claim. But beneath that calm was something else. Annoying emptiness. Not regret. No, I didn't miss them. I missed the idea of them. The family I thought I had. My laptop screen flickered awake. I opened my banking app. No unauthorized charges. No suspicious withdrawals. A clean slate. But something pulled at me. A question I couldn't shake. How much had I lost? Not just emotionally, financially. I dug through old statements, scrolling through years of payments, rent for my parents, credit card bills I'd covered, birthday parties for Chelsea, emergency loans for Dad's business ventures. It was like watching a slow-motion car crash. Each transaction a reminder of my willingness to be their safety net. $800 for Dad's overdue car payment. $2,300 for Chelsea's dream vacation. $1,200 for Mom's surprise spa day. $5,000 for the family reunion I never got thanked for. The numbers piled up, each one a scar. I leaned back, a cold, tight anger building in my chest. They hadn't just hurt me emotionally. They'd stolen from me. I had to know the final number. So, I opened a spreadsheet and started listing every expense I could remember: old bank statements, text messages where they promised to pay me back soon, the ones I had foolishly believed. By the time I was done, the total stared back at me, $72,480. I stared at the number, my fist tightening. $72,000. $72,000 spent on a family that saw me as nothing but a wallet. No more. I grabbed my phone and dialed my lawyer. 3 days later, a thick envelope arrived at my door, a formal letter embossed with my lawyer's seal. Inside, a demand letter. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Harper. This is a formal notice requiring you to return $72,480 to your son plus applicable interest. This amount is calculated based on documented financial support he provided over several years, which was taken without proper consent or repayment. Failure to comply within 30 days will result in legal action. I read it twice, a slow smile curling at the corners of my mouth. This wasn't just about the money. It was about proving that I was done being their victim. I signed the letter and sent it by registered mail, a ticking clock attached to their conscience. Within a week, the storm hit. Mom's name flashed on my phone. I ignored it. Dad texted, "This is a mistake. Call me." Delete. Chelsea left a voicemail, crying, pleading for me to be reasonable. Erased. Then the messages exploded in the family group chat even though I was no longer in it. My cousin Emily sent me screenshots. Mom, he's trying to destroy us. He's gone mad. Aunt Karen, he's suing his own parents. Unbelievable. Uncle Henry, maybe he's right. They did take his money. A split. The family who once attacked me without question was now arguing. Some still defended them, but others saw the truth. But their drama was no longer mine. 2 weeks later, I received an email from my lawyer. David, they have refused to pay voluntarily. We can proceed to court. Perfect. I arrived at the courthouse on a gray, rainy morning. Mom and Dad were already there, standing with Chelsea. Mom's face was a mask of desperation. Dad's jaw was clenched and Chelsea's eyes were red, makeup streaked from tears. The courtroom was silent. My lawyer laid out the evidence, the bank statements, the text messages asking for money, the empty promises to repay. Each number was a nail in their coffin. Mom tried to interrupt, her voice cracking. We're his family. He always helped us. It was just how we lived. Until you drained him dry, my lawyer countered coldly. Family support is not a free pass to steal. Dad tried a different tactic, standing up and declaring. He's just bitter. This is revenge. No, Mr. Harper, the judge's voice cut in. This is justice. Chelsea sobbed quietly, her tears the only sound in the room. It took less than an hour for the verdict. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff. Mr. David Harper is entitled to $72,480 plus interest. Defendants are ordered to begin repayment within 30 days. They lost. And this time, they couldn't twist the story. The next morning, I got a call. Unknown number. I answered out of habit. David, it was Mom. Her voice was weak, shattered. Please, we'll lose everything. Can't we talk? You had years to talk. Instead, you chose to lie, to steal. Now you want to talk. No, Mom. We're done. But we're your family, she wailed. What are we supposed to do? You're supposed to pay me back. I hung up. Within a month, the first payment arrived. They sold some of their possessions, borrowed money from other relatives, but they paid. My phone stayed silent. No more desperate messages, no more guilt trips, just monthly deposits, a slow, steady admission of their guilt. I sipped my coffee one morning, watching the notification of another payment appear. It didn't bring joy, just a quiet, calm satisfaction. It wasn't revenge. It was balance. A line drawn, a debt repaid. And for the first time in years, I felt like I truly belonged to myself. The first payment arrived silently. Then the second, the third. Every month, money appeared in my account from my parents. Silent apologies turned into numbers. I didn't respond, but then came the letter. A white envelope with no return address, handwritten. I knew that handwriting. I tore it open and unfolded the page. Dear David. We know we hurt you. We know we lost you, but we didn't realize we'd lose even more. Your Aunt Martha won't speak to us anymore. Uncle Henry said we brought this on ourselves. Chelsea blames us for everything because now she is no one. You were the only one who truly supported us, and we couldn't see it. We're not asking for forgiveness. We just wanted you to know that we're sorry. You were right, Mom. I read the letter again, feeling a cold, hollow emptiness, no anger, no satisfaction, just nothing. I placed the letter on the table without even thinking of responding. The next payment arrived the following week, but this time it didn't feel like relief. Every deposit was a silent reminder of how I let myself be their sponsor. I opened my banking app, pressed reject. Silence. I called my lawyer. Cancel all payments. Forgive the remaining debt. Are you sure? He asked. Yes. I breathed out, feeling an invisible weight lift from my shoulders. I want them to know they will never have power over me again. That same evening, I received a message from my cousin Emily. Proud of you. You're strong. We met for coffee. She told me how many relatives finally saw the truth. That my parents hadn't just lost me, they lost the family support. They thought they could always control you, she said. But you broke that chain. I smiled, and this time, it was real. The next morning, I sat on my terrace, sunlight spilling into the room. I held a cup of coffee, staring at the clean screen of my phone. No messages, no calls. Finally, the silence didn't scare me. I was no longer a victim, no longer a sponsor.